Hello, welcome back to the ministry, and we're working on track 13, which is the Dave Hollister song called One Woman Man. So, let's start off by talking about the fact of they've made all of the decisions, they've climbed the mountain, they've done all of this, they've married you, they are joyful to be at home, and now they are dealing with the fact that they still got to be who they were, meaning they whatever career, whatever it was that they were doing, they still got to do that. And the fact of the matter is, if your husband was handsome, if your husband was um, easy on the eyes for the women, you think that the women are going to stop being attracted to your husband because he married you? No. Women have a tendency, depending on, they might actually be more attracted after they get married. And at that particular point, it's about a discretion between you and your husband as to what you decide to do. There's a series of schools of thought out there right now. No, you shouldn't tell anybody that y'all married because you don't want to expose your marriage too soon while y'all still trying to figure it out. It could be detrimental. Be silent and do so silently while you get to an adjustment period that you can deal with each other and understand and have built a solid foundation amongst the two of you, which is very smart. Then you have another school of foundation that says everybody should know. You should be putting that person's face on your Facebook, and they should change their relationship status and all this kind of stuff. And then it's that element of you should have the multitude of counselors, you should have this, that, and the other. And it's one of those scenarios. What did the Lord say? What did the Lord say? It's a whole nother thing. But you got to create a good fortress between you and the outer world so that you and your husband have a solid foundation. Because once you know that y'all got a solid foundation, he good, you good, everybody good, we understand each other, there aren't going to be no wandering eyes on either side. But you still got to go out there into the world. I mean, even on the minuscule manner of day-to-day things. I got to go to the grocery store, okay? People are there. I got to go shopping. People are there. Some of y'all that are preparing for pregnancy and all that type of stuff. You got doctor's appointments. You got things that you can't be in the house. You're going to be out. And because of pregnancy, your husband going to be going out and taking and doing certain things to make sure that you're comfortable while you're pregnant. So, yeah, he going to be out there still maneuvering and just moving around, period. With that comes the test of what this song is about. I'm going to explain the concept of the video as I explain the song. So, as it starts out, it's so funny running into you. They will run into exes. And to a degree, depending on, because see, the enemy knows which one of you is worthy of trying to distract. If you got all fortresses and barriers covered on your end, Meaning he can't get to you. If you see a man looking in your direction, you gonna start warring against it. They're like, yeah, it's no more. There's no real point in going after her. But maybe, just maybe, he's not paying as much attention as she is. So I'm gonna send this chick that he used to know up in his face again. Hey, ain't it funny? I just ran into you. It's been 3 years since we last seen each other. That will pick somebody from recent, just recent enough that they recognize him, and depending on what kind of person that they had that relationship with, what was they? To get their mind to thinking. It's like, oh, I remember you. I also remember what we used to do. Many flashbacks come to mind. Of the wild and crazy times we used to have with one another. I'm sorry, y'all, women, lovelies, sweeties. Just because he cute, just because he nice, just because he fine does not mean that his bedroom time was just as sweet and nice. The man was out there. That means he could have been doing anything. Song comes to mind by DK3. I think it was called, it's either What You Want or How Do You Want Something. Every different way that a woman can be used in a sexual position. I wasn't always Christian, but I did hear that album during the time frame I was Christian. And let me say this. Y'all holier than thou females, calm it down. Because some of y'all, the marriage bed is undefiled, so. And that song, Cater to You, Kelly Rowland says, if I'm not doing it, you never want your man eyes wandering outside of y'all's bedroom. Just for knowledge's sake. So, when he was wild and crazy, he did some wild and crazy things with these other women. We absolutely didn't care. Same line of thought. We would do it anywhere. Same line of thought. Eye contact and it was over. But that was when I was wilding out. Meaning they was out there. They were up to whatever was the nightly routine, whatever game, whatever gymnastics that y'all wanted to play. But now it's like, I'm calmed down now. I don't need all that, okay? I couldn't care less about. Let me repeat that. I couldn't care less about. Let me repeat that. I couldn't care less about. Some of y'all be worried that these men, either when you get them or after you got them, oh my God, what if one of them women come around again? What if, let me repeat that. I couldn't care less about. They don't care about that stuff. They experienced that. That was what they experienced when they experienced what they was experiencing back then. Okay? That was then. This is now. And some of them older, it's like they can't get in them positions that they used to get in. Let's just be honest. Couldn't care less about somebody getting hurt. Out here playing their games. 1, 2, 3 at the same time. Neither one of them knowing about each other. 4, 5, 6. I've heard of people that have done that. I'm like, how you got 6 different? How you got that much energy to be dealing with 6 different people at the same? I don't get it, but whatever. I've seen it from both sides. I'm like, oh, okay. I've done my share of dirt. They admit that they was doing what they was doing out when they was doing what they was doing. But I'm done wised up. They realized they got older. When I was a child, I thought as a child, but now that I'm a man, I put away childish things. Stop playing in games like they used to. Seeing you reminds me of all the nights I used to beat it up. You know what that means. And as the video played, he saw one woman. They hugged, they kissed on the cheeks, so on and so forth. And he's like, hey, how you doing? And then as he's walking, he's like, oh, hey, how you doing? And he sees another one. He's like, oh, how you doing? It's like, you was out here, I guess. Because each one of them was somebody he'd been with before. It's like, I would do it again, but I can't. These men have the realization they'll run into all, and let me tell you something. Let me just side note to this, which is pretty much the same concept. Man gets married. It's kind of like when you waiting on something. I remember this happened to a friend of mine years ago. They were waiting on their ride. Every car but the car for the ride that they were waiting on was showing up. Exact same model, exact same color, not the car. Now that this man is married, every single person seemingly came out the woodwork and fell out of wherever they fell out of. They seemed to cross. It's like, oh, her. Oh, her. Oh, where did y'all come from? You think that was the enemy that sent all these women all of a sudden? Oh, hey. Okay, because everything is different now. I finally have settled down. Because they've settled down and they're no longer in that phase of life. When they finally made the choice. Because see, men have to make a choice. A lot of y'all been waiting and wondering, what's this taking so long? What's taking so long? Why is he taking so long? He had to choose to make the decision to cut that part of his life off. All of it. Meaning, when I enter this, it's all done with that. Meaning, I don't want nothing to do with that. Or anything associated with doing anything with that. I remember I heard an interview from Rev Run, and he was talking about his wife when, I don't know whether it was on Oprah or somewhere, and he was talking about how, oh, they be women. But he's come to a understanding. I know that they're women. I know they become attracted. But I also make sure that I never put myself in a position to make it be assumed that there is a possibility for anything to happen in that scenario. Meaning, he won't even get on an elevator with a woman that he does not position himself for the opportunity for anything to happen. That's what these men are trying to do. They're trying to get their mindsets right so that they're mentally positioned, but they also have to understand, oh yeah, I cannot put myself in the position to threaten what they got with you. I'm settled down. I'm done with that. And because of that, they're a one-woman man. You are the one woman. You it. They ain't even looking no more. They don't even notice them no more. And they had to get their head right before they married you in order to come into that realization and understanding, so that when these women passed by, they were ignorant to them. Meaning, I saw you pass me, but I have no inclination to do anything. Remember what I just said in the previous videos. Go back to the She Is review where I talked about Carl Thomas in the She Is review, where he was talking about how he was standing there and three women were all up in his face. And he's cordially smiling in their face and talking to them. But when the one woman he was interested in walked past, his attention went to her instantaneously. Meaning, the other chicks no longer matter. If he's with you, they still don't matter. And if you call to somebody that has influence, of course the enemy's going to send situations to make it look like, oh, who's she? Oh, who's that? Oh, what's that? Oh, he got photographed hugging this other woman. Oh, he got photographed. Let me tell you this right now, females. Learn and learn quickly. The enemy's always going to try you with a photo, always going to try you with something to make, just to test if you trust this man or not. Okay? And because of that, you're going to see the pictures. You're going to see that. And depending on how influential the person is, you're going to see it. You may see it more than you want to see it. But here's the lesson in that. Take the image with a grain of salt. Take what you saw with a grain of salt. Understanding, if you know you're marrying an influential person of whatever degree, pedigree, or industry he's supposed to be into, understand that some of that is just plain, genuine kindness that they have to show because they're dealing with people on a day-to-day basis. Don't look into it any further, because the enemy will always try to throw something in there. It's like, oh, he's hugging this person. And it's like, you'd be like, this is for his job. Stop it. Sober-minded. Be sober-minded, ladies. There were many others after you, quite a few one-night stands. Some of the names I can't remember. The men were out here doing what they did. Imagine waking up to someone new you barely even knew, time and time again. They had that experience. This is what they went through. They walked through all of that. But there's someone for everyone. I've been blessed to find that one. When they found you, they came to the understanding they ain't need none of that. Back in the other Carl Thomas song that I did, I don't remember whether, I don't think it was A Promise. It was probably, it might have been My First Love. It was either My First Love or wasn't Make It Right. It was something else. Go back and listen to the playlist. You'll find it. But he was basically saying that um, nothing would have worked. It wasn't going to work without that person. Anything that happened prior to this person coming into their life no longer matters. Prior to you coming into their life, nothing no longer matters. They were blessed to find the one. So when they found the one, nothing else before that mattered. Dun, 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 dun. Who makes me feel like no other because they fell in love with the one, which is you. The feeling that you give them beyond anything else they've ever felt, they ain't getting it with nobody else. So they're not going to threaten that feeling by hurting you. That's dumb. They're not going to threaten that. So you are looking good, but I can't go home with you. Meaning, the woman can try it. I remember, what was it? It was like a month or so ago. I was watching an old episode of my TV show I used to watch. And the woman, she wasn't the main character's best friend. She was like a new chick that just came into town and became associated with the main character's friend group, while the friend or the main character was just coming back after being gone for a while. And she was trying to reestablish friendships and relationships. She managed to get the relationship she had before back in order. Things were starting to maneuver the way that they were supposed to. And the new chick that had only been in a couple months, she was feeling her boyfriend. So she tested the water. Because she knew that he was one to fall for, he was that hero type that if you come at him at pity, then he might fall for that. But she's a bad liar. So when she walked up in his place like that and was like, I'm dealing with this, and and then tries to hug all up on him. But it's like, she walked around looking like a Jezebel anyway. And dark hair, dark everything. Everything about her was dark. So it's like she was the anti of the main character. And she goes and hugs up on him, and then she pulls back and tries to kiss him, and he pushes her. He's like, I can be here for you, but I cannot be here for you like that. I'm so sorry. You know where my heart lies. Back it up. It's nice seeing you, but I gotta go home to my woman. That's the way they feel. Being with you is more important than a one-night stand with anybody. Because I got to go home to her. Because they know if you ever found out the demolition that would happen to their lifestyle, they can't even think about the heartbreak. Not just of hurting you, but of the demolition of hurting you and then the hurt of losing everything else associated with hurting you. They're like, nah, it ain't worth it. I'm a not deal with doing that. I'm good. So long gone are the days when I ran the streets. They ain't out here doing what they used to do. Remember in the Lady in the Tramp review I did a while back? If you haven't watched it, go back and look at the Lady in the Tramp. When Tramp made the decision to go home, meaning they offered him home at the end of the movie, and he could have gone into the pound or it was home. He chose to go with her, lady, and her family into the house. These men coming home. That's what the previous song, Home, was about. They're coming home. They're home. Home. You are their home. Home. So trying out here in these streets trying to get laid. But now I've found the love of my life. I don't have to trick no more. Girl, it was nice seeing you, but I gotta go home to my baby. This is how these men are gonna feel. This is how they feel now. As they're even preparing. They're like, because you know the devil's sending them. Just trying to, maybe I sent her. And then when he come to the realization ain't none of the old tricks working, he's going to send somebody new and be like, maybe I can send somebody. Because that's how the whole Beauty and the Beast scenario thing happened. Is that, what's her name? Ursula transformed into a visual replica of Ariel, but with black hair. She looked just like her. And me send somebody look just like you to even deter them even stronger from coming to you. Which is how you ended up with My First Love, where God kept saying, man, you look like somebody I used to know. Oh my God, you look really like the person. But they saying, now that I've found her and I'm with her, sorry, rejection all day. But the way God does it is before he even gets them to you, he tests them in the manner of, hey, look, you going to have to reject the woman before she come into your life. God gets them on a tip that they rejecting women constantly before you walk into their life. So that he knows that, okay, if you can reject them and there ain't nobody standing next to you, when she is standing next to you, it's going to work out just fine. Because God knows you prayed for a loyal man. Not only loyal, but ethical, moral. You know what I'm saying? So, finally, I've settled down and became a one-woman man. That's a wrap. They are a one-woman man. They don't need no one else. They one woman. That's all they want. So that is the end of One Woman Man. Until next time. Bye-bye.